chart for Donald Trump, President of the United States. He was born June 14, 1946 at 10:54 a.m. in Queens. And if you were to look at the eastern horizon when he was born, it was the sign of Leo was rising at 6 degrees and 53 minutes. And that becomes the most effective point of every house. Any planet within 5 degrees of this 6 degrees and 53 minutes has a great impact in transit chart or the birth chart. So Leo is a fire sign. That means they're very ambitious, quick starters, great leaders, and they are also a fixed sign, can be stubborn, need to be more flexible. He was born on an eclipse. So you see this eclipse. It gives great strength and also can cause great harm. So it gave him his presidential victory in one sense, but also some curses of multiple marriages and controversial way of speaking. He was born in a Mercury Dasha period, which becomes the root of this tree of life. Mercury is buy, sell, trade, communication, persuasive speech, and that's in his house of income, ruling his house of wealth and fame. So you can see how that set him up for his destiny. And let's just go through and look at the planets, the benefics and the functional malefics. So in every sign, we look to the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house, the challenging houses, to see if there is a Multrikona sign, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. And we see not in the 6th, not in the 8th, but in the 12th house, we have the sign of Cancer, ruled by Moon. So Moon becomes functional malefic for this planet. And we see that Moon is afflicting Ketu, and it's afflicting Sun 7 houses away, and Rahu. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, and in the house, the 4th house of family life and property. So can be great gains in property, can be some losses, great gains in relationship, family, but also losses. And when the moon is waxing and waning, it can affect emotions, the mind. So let's see. So Sun is weak. Any planet that's less than 5 degrees or more than 25 degrees becomes weak, or because of its in old age, cannot defend itself. And it is actually the ruler of the sign. So it's in the first house. It's in this 10th house, and it rules the first house of longevity. And so Sun has a significator for for heart. So he has to be very concerned about his heart, and it's in this house of career, gives leadership abilities, but it is weak. So it has two sides, a positive and a negative. Sun is also representing politics, and it is afflicted by Rahu, but it gives ambition for leadership. So Rahu gives material gains, but it can also take them away. And again, there's this moon affliction. Moon is debilitated and is functional malefic, and it rules the 12th house of separation, losses, expenses, addiction, depression. and it is represents the public. So he's working with the public. He has many. It also represents foreign lands. He has a lot of property in foreign lands, and it's in this house of family, working with your family, which he does. Sons and daughter are part of the business. Mars is at 3 degrees. It's weak, and it is ruling the house of good fortune, and it is in the first house of self appearance, fame, name, fame, and it represents property. So his life purpose is working with properties and good fortune through property. Uh, and it's also weak due to its dispositor being weak. Sun. The Sun is in old age, as well as Mars being in infancy. Mercury at 15 degrees is really well placed in the house of income and through buy-sell trade. Mercury represents buy-sell trade, and it's ruling the house of wealth and fame. So through this buying, selling trade, you become wealthy and famous and very good income through sales. Jupiter, intellectual property, I mean, just having his name on buildings, he gains income. So Jupiter is at 24 degrees. It's also well placed in this house of wealth and fame, recognition, and it's ruling the house of investments. So through investments, become famous, and he has a good support from his children. They're part of the business, and let's see here. It is afflicted by Rahu. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 houses away, and it is within 5 degrees. So that means that he can operate outside the normal laws of the land, and he may have some legal issues with government and taxes and things like that, which you can see that's happening. Venus is at 2 degrees. It's very weak. It's in this house's losses, expenses, separations. Venus represents wife. So again, this can be that he may have multiple marriages, and it also has to do with his speech not being controversial, not always appreciated. This is the house of speech, as well as wealth and fame. And Saturn is very weak. It rules partnerships. He's apparently gotten lots of legal issues with partners. And again, in this house is lots of separations, and it also has to do with longevity. We'll see how long he lives. But this is the one thing I think that caused these. It's conjunct Venus, so this has to do with how, because he wanted to get into politics several years ago, but never was able to, so caused some delay in the getting fully into politics. Rahu is exalted. And giving great ambition for his career and his success in career. It's in this house of career, and it is conjunct Sun, so gives success in politics and leadership. K2 is exalted, and it's conjunct Moon in the 4th house. So it can bring great insight, intuition into property and investing in properties. And so, yeah, those are the main things. Now, he, um, his victory in presidency. So, if we were to look at his dasha periods, he had started to have a lot of problems with his properties in the 90s. And 1990, he had some. If you look back here at 1990, started to have some issues, and then in you look at his presidency, he was in the last part of his Rahu period, main period. It can either take things away or give great success. But he was heading into Jupiter, so Jupiter was a great planet for him as well as Mercury. So that gave him good strength to be in the presidency. Now it's interesting that in 2019 January, so he will go into his Saturn period. Saturn very weak, so it'd be really interesting to see what happens at that point. He had some bankruptcies in. He had divorce in 1991 and 99. So if we look back at 91, he was, I think, in this moon-sun period, just about to go into Mars. So again, sun very weak, and kind of lost a lot of money through that divorce with Ivanka. And then 1999, he also had divorce, so that was in his Rahu period. Again, can take things away, cause an eclipse. And then in 2004, in that Rahu Saturn period, again, Saturn very weak, causes losses and expenses in the house of losses of expenses. And so those are the main points of Donald Trump's chart. Remedies that could be support him and improve his health, his heart, would be to strengthen Sun with a Kavash, as well as Saturn, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. And then you want to transform Moon, as well as Rahu and Ketu. Moon through listening to Shiva chants on Mondays, helping women, supporting women, which is something he seems to be learning about. And then helping people who cannot help themselves, Rahu, listening again to Shiva chants on Mondays. And then K2 giving to spiritual organizations and listening to Ganesh chants on Thursdays. So these are the main points for Donald Trump's chart. Be very interesting to see what happens as time goes on here.